Your phone is ringing and you know exactly who it is, and you are watching it ring with a feeling that is entirely disproportionate to what is actually happening, which is that a person you probably like is trying to reach you through a technology that has existed for over a century. And yet, something in your nervous system is treating this moment with the same basic urgency as a threat that requires an immediate fight or flight decision. And the fact that you would happily text this same person for an hour would have no anxiety whatsoever about running into them in person, but cannot make yourself pick up that phone without a specific internal preparation that the situation objectively does not require. This is not a personality flaw. This is not a generational weakness. This is not evidence that something is socially wrong with you. It is a specific, documentable, psychologically explicable response to a very particular set of cognitive demands that the phone call makes and that no other form of communication makes in quite the same way. And understanding those demands completely will make the anxiety not just understandable, but genuinely manageable in a way that willpower and self-criticism have clearly never managed to make it. The phone call is cognitively unique among all modern communication formats in a specific and important way. It demands real-time performance without the visual information that in-person conversation provides to support it, which creates a very particular cognitive load that the brain experiences as genuinely demanding rather than merely effortful. In face-to-face conversation, the brain has access to a full channel of nonverbal information. Facial expression, body language, eye contact, physical proximity, that provides continuous feedback about how the conversation is landing, when it is appropriate to speak, whether the other person is engaged or discomforted, and what emotional register the exchange is operating in, all of which the social brain processes automatically and uses to calibrate its responses in real time. Text and written communication remove the time pressure entirely. You can think, draft, reconsider, and send when ready, which means the anxiety of performance is distributed across a manageable timeline rather than concentrated in a real-time moment. But the phone call removes the visual channel while keeping the real-time demand, which means the brain must perform the full cognitive work of social interaction, constructing responses, managing emotional register, monitoring the relationship dynamic. Without the non-verbal scaffolding that makes that work feel manageable in person, and under the specific pressure of a silence that cannot be allowed to extend too long. Because silence on a phone call carries a social weight that silence in a text conversation simply does not. Research on social anxiety by psychologist Stefan Hoffman at Boston University identifies this combination of real-time performance demand and reduced informational input as one of the most reliable triggers for anxious social cognition in people with any degree of social sensitivity. And the phone call sits at the precise intersection of these two factors in a way that makes it genuinely more cognitively and emotionally demanding than either in-person conversation or text-based communication for a significant proportion of the population. Not the anxious or the damaged proportion, but the sensitive, thoughtful, communication-valuing portion whose nervous system is simply doing a more thorough job of processing the demands of the situation than a less sensitive system would bother to do. And here is the final psychological truth about phone call avoidance, the one that reframes it from weakness to information. The anxiety you feel before a phone call is your brain accurately assessing a genuine cognitive demand and preparing its resources to meet it, which is exactly what anxiety is designed to do. It is the motivational system's response to a performance requirement, and the specific disproportionate intensity of it around phone calls is not evidence of social inadequacy, but evidence of a nervous system that takes communication seriously enough to feel the weight of doing it well, and that weight, however uncomfortable in the moment of the ringing phone, is the same sensitivity that makes you genuinely present, genuinely attentive, and genuinely worth talking to when you finally, after the internal preparation your nervous system apparently requires, pick up. Subscribe for more mind secrets.